All right. What's happy Friday? Welcome to the Deal Desk. So I lost my voice, so I'll be doing the best I can to communicate with people. It was worse, man. On Monday, I mean, it was much worse, but it's actually a little bit better today. So if you have a hard time understanding me, I appreciate your patience. All right, but we're gonna get started right away. And remember, if you're new here, if you're tuning in for the first time, like what I do here is I just call leads live that you submit. If you want me to call your leads live, let me show you this. All you got to do is go to the reitoolbox.com. Okay. And then you are going to go to, it's going to take you right here. All right. And then you're going to click the Deal Desk lead submission. You're going to click on that. It's going to take you to this form. Whoops. There we go. It's going to take you to this form right here. Make sure you fill out all the information. The more notes, the better. And then I just call the lead live. When, I don't know what to expect, right? We always get all kinds of interesting conversations with people. But, just submit whatever you can. The only thing I ask is that these are warm leads. I don't want to do cold calling here. I want to make sure that I get the chance to lock up these deals for you. All right. All right. So that being said, excuse my voice. We're going to get right to it. Let's see where this first lead is at. Let's pull this off here. This one is in Florida. Sneads, Florida. Man, this thing needs some work. This is the kind of stuff we like to see here. All right, so let me pull this up here. So, let me share my screen and the audio, and I'll call this lead here. So this is the property. All right, so what did you put? What kind of information did you put about this property here? Remember, if you're in the community, you get your leads called first, and you also can message me throughout the show in the private chat. All right, let's see. Well, I don't see much information about this property. Yeah, you didn't put really any information about this. Whose lead is this? Let me just make sure. Yeah, there's no information about it, so there's no number or anything. I can't call them. Let me just triple check I'm looking at the right form because I don't see information about it. All right, cool. So if you want to resubmit that lead, I'll be happy to get back to it. But I need information about it. I just need address. Actually, you know what? If this is a FSBO, which it is, it has the number on the bottom. Okay, so I'm going to call it anyway for you. But just make sure that you guys fill out this information properly. All right, so let me pull up the Zillow listing. So it says, as its home, brand new edition, just added, needs TLC, but would make a great investment home or lake house. All right, close to boat dock, all paved roads, will sell fast. Don't delay and contact me today for a showing. Okay, so this is a for sale by owner. Okay, definitely needs some work. I don't know what's up with this here. These are like weird photos. They're asking $27,000 for it. All right, so this needs, this needs a floor innovation. Okay, so let's call this number on it, and then let's see what they say.
Hello?
Hey, good afternoon. I saw your listing on Zillow. Are you still accepting offers for it?
We're only accepting full price offers.
Full price offers. When are you looking to
Uh-huh.
accept an offer?
Right now?
So if I can give you full price offer, you ready to move forward today?
Absolutely.
Okay, great. I see actually plenty of photos here. Do you have a few minutes I can ask you a few more questions about it?
Yeah.
Okay, great. I see plenty of photos here. Needs TLC. What? That's a steel roof. What's the age of that roof?
I think the lady we're selling for, she said it was put on like in 2007.
Oh, you're not the owner. Are you an agent, a
Yeah.
wholesaler?
No. She just goes to my church and she doesn't speak any English, so she asked me to put it on Zillow for her.
Okay, perfect. All right. And then I see the house needs everything. How's the electric and plumbing?
It needs work. Yeah. It's there, but then they added an addition and it needs to be ran to the addition too. Most of the work is completed though.
Got it. Okay. So you're looking to get 27 and she's firm on that price. I mean, you said that you're just only accepting full price offers.
Yeah, and that includes paying up the taxes for the rest of the year.
The buyer to pay the taxes?
Us, no. We would pay that. That price would include us paying the taxes.
Got it. Okay. Just out of curiosity, how did she get to that number?
I think she bought it for a certain amount, and then she put like 15K into the addition, and so she just wants basically what she spent on it and the money that they spent for the addition. And the addition was done by a professional. Her husband's a contractor.
Okay.
Solid walls, solid flooring, everything in the house is solid.
Got it. Okay. So you're not taking a penny less than 27,000. If we are able to do 27,000, that's something that she's ready to move forward and you can assist her with that?
Absolutely.
Okay, perfect. I'll crunch some numbers and if it's a good fit, we'll call you back.
Okay, sounds great.
What was your name, sir?
My name is Dominic.
Dominic. Okay, thank you, Dominic. My name's Steven.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, Steven. I hope to hear from you soon, okay?
Yes, sir. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
So he's not the decision maker. Looks like he's assisting somebody, like you said, somebody from the church. This is out in the middle of nowhere. Now, here's the thing with these kind of leads. At the end of the day, it's real estate, right? So you want to make an offer on everything, but obviously the property needs a lot of work. All right. With people that contact us, and let's say it's out in the middle of nowhere, what we like to do is set even more clear, better expectations, right? Because let's say we lock this up, right? It's going to take a long time to sell simply because there's no activity here, right? What's actually the population? What's this in Sneeds, whatever? I've never heard of this town before. Let me check the population. Something else to look at. Good. Okay, so there's 1,800 people that live in this town. That's why there's no comps. I mean, I'm gonna go back. Let me see. There's one that's really far away. This one is newer. It's about the same square footage. Okay, this is a mobile home. Sold for 72, and it's in good shape. Now, this person's asking 27. I don't see enough spread here. I personally wouldn't offer 27. If he says that they are firm on 27, they don't take a penny less, I would follow up. Because there's no point in me calling them back with an offer lower if they're saying we're not taking anything less than that. I'm actually, if I were you, I would take it, give it a week. Hold on, let me mute this notifications. You do want to make an offer, but they're not going to accept it. You can say verbally they do have interest on it, but there's no comps. So what we do, by the way, with properties that are out in the middle of nowhere, we tell them, hey, typically with properties that are in a more rural area like yours, we actually partner up with local investor-friendly agents, and it's going to take a little bit longer to sell, typically 30 to 60 to 90 days. And we actually partner up with them and you to list the property in the market. Now, you're still going to get the price you want. We'll confirm with the agent, but is that something you might be open to? So I want to explain it like that, because essentially what I'm trying to say is, like, are you okay with a novation? This property needs a lot of work. So it's, I think it's going to sit for a while. He's not the main decision maker, but I think for this one, I mean, let me see here. I do see, let me go back a little bit farther out. In rural areas, I can extend the distance. So I typically like, 2 miles. I can go a little bit farther out, maybe 3 to 5 miles. And there's one property. Let me look at lots. If there's any lots that sold too, because it's probably going to sell for less though. Oh, I found one comp. Hold on. This sold. How long did this take to sell? It was an off-market listing. It just says sold. I want to see who bought this, because this is a fixer-upper. It is bigger than ours. So square footage matters, right? Bedroom, bathroom, square footage, year built, condition. This condition's horrible. It's built in 1959. Our subject property is 1958. So that's fine. But I just want to take a look and see who bought this, because if it, see if it was an investor. I think for this one, we'd probably be closer to 10,000 because of the condition. And this was not an investor that bought this. Yeah. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. What else we got? We have Euclid. All right, so this one's in Huntsville, Alabama. Looks like this is a for sale. Looks like it's listed with an agent. Remember, your approach with agents is going to be different. You can't expect them to accept your offer over the phone, but you do want to get a little bit more information, right? I pay close attention to the days on market and how much views and saves it has. If you have access to MLS data, make sure you verify that the days on market, for example, PropStream, I can see the days on market on there, and I want to make sure it aligns with what's on Zillow, because sometimes there'll be two different things, right? Like I saw property days on market 90 days one time, but on Zillow said 7 days. Make sure you cross-reference that, because looking at days on market and saves, it's important to see if there's any interest on it. All right. So this is the property. All right. So step inside, 3-bedroom, 1 bath, needs TLC, cul-de-sac. Okay. So roof is older with minor leak. These are things I pay close attention to. Whenever you're calling leads that are listed on Zillow, whether it's on the market with an agent or for sale by owner, one thing that you completely want to avoid is making the agent or the homeowner repeat themselves. Okay. You want to, you basically just want to verify the information, right? So for example, like on the description, it says, let me X this out here. It says roof is older with minor leak. HVAC is only 5 years old. So, when I ask these questions about how old is the roof, how old is the AC, I have to be careful that I don't ask about, I don't ask a question that the answer is in the description. Now, it doesn't say how old the roof is, but I'm not going to ask, hey, the AC, how old is the AC? I'm going to say, hey, I see that you list in the description the AC is 5 years old. It says the roof has a minor leak. Would you happen to know the age of the roof? Right? So make sure you set up your questions that way. What notes did you put in here about this property? Okay, roof is old and leaking. Any updates? They're asking 130. Tried to call agent twice. No answer. All right, so Daniel's the agent. Who submitted this? All right, Darla, you submitted this. All right, let's give him a call. And real quick, I'm just gonna pull up some quick comps. When I'm calling agents, right? I'm not there to really negotiate with the agent. I'm there to collect any additional information, such as, other stuff that's not in the description. But one of the most important questions I like to ask the agent is, are they firm on price? Are they motivated? When are they looking to make a decision on the property? Okay. Because this person's asking, I think, a pretty good price. It's only been on the market for 17 days on Zillow and has 85 saves and about 1,700 views. So I'm going to pull a prop stream, and I'm not, when I'm running comps on here, I'm not going to show that. I have a separate video on my YouTube channel for that. I want to keep your leads confidential. But let me look at the MLS details. Okay, so it says 19 days. All right, so 19 days on the MLS, 17 days on Zillow. All right, cool. And the house, I mean, it looks in fair shape. Definitely needs some updating, but I would say it's rent ready. Pretty messy, but that doesn't matter. Very old style. So let's call the agent, because I think they're asking a decent price. But remember, whenever you're going after properties that are listed for sale by owner publicly or on the MLS, you cannot lock it up at the price it's listed at. Remember that, because I still see some people making those mistakes, right? Because what are you going to do? You're going to lock this. It's listed for 130. You're going to lock it up for 130, and then you're going to try to market it for 145, 150. And then when they put up on the MLS or Zillow, they see it's 130. So what value do you bring? So we're going to call this agent. Let's see if they even pick up the phone. Mr. Daniel. All right, let's give him a call. And then I got some lead house leads to call. Lead house, some fire leads last week, man.
Good afternoon. Thank you for calling Sell Your Home Services. Please enter the house number, followed by the pound sign. To search vacant land, you will need to search by zip code. To search by zip code, please press star.
Para español, presione la tecla numeral.
Hold on a second. Okay. This is the second AI call. Let me see if this will.
3411 Euclid Circle North.
Press star to re-enter or to search another property.
Oh, that's correct. Okay.
I can tell you about this property while I locate your party. This property is a house. Transferring your call now.
You reached Daniel Tombo. Sorry, I couldn't get to the phone right now.
I'm going to call one more time. This is the second time. Yesterday, I spoke with a robot that answered the phone. Oh, he said, please text me. Okay. So he's not available. Listen, if you're an agent watching the show, do not make an AI answering service and then get it transferred to another AI answering service. I spoke with the lead yesterday. An AI bot answered the phone and then said, let me transfer you. And then it transferred me to another AI thing. It wasn't set up properly, but this house may sit for a while if he nobody can get a hold of him. But I think for this property, I think 110 would work. 110 would work. I think it's priced correctly. So, Darla, this is a good lead. Make sure you stay on top of this lead. I think there's an opportunity here. You just got to get a hold of the agent. If he prefers text, just text them. Okay? All right, let's go to the next one. This is in, looks like it's in North Carolina, which we're supposed to be closing on a property today, North Carolina, in Atlantic Beach. Hopefully today, if not, Monday. All right, so what's up with this one? What is this? It's hard to see the house. Okay, it looks like a nice brick home. Kind of hard to see a little bit, but that's okay. The curb appeal is important, especially when we're running comps, because sometimes, regardless what software you use, it'll pull bedroom, bathroom, square footage, your build, all that stuff, but it looks like a completely different house. So you want to make sure that the house looks the same. You don't want to compare a brick to a wood frame or one that has a pool and not a pool. So make sure you're looking at all those details. All right, so let's take a look at the details for this one. I called this one. Didn't get that far. Seller hung up on me. Okay. They're asking, hold on. About $14,000 owed in taxes. This property is listed as a foreclosure. Okay. I found a working number for the owner, Carol. It appears husband passed away. ARV is about 874,000. She was short and abrupt. Wow. I was following the outbound seller script. She immediately asked me what was the offer. When I told her we didn't formula offers right away, prior to get some information, she hung up on me. So I'm thinking maybe if someone else gives her a call another time, she may be in a better mood. Hey, listen, I love that you put that information. I'm going to, let's see if she picks up the phone, first of all. If this isn't foreclosure, foreclosed properties aren't assignable unless you want to double close on them. But, you have to jump through a few more hoops. If it's in pre-foreclosure, that's fine. I'm going to go ahead and call this lady. Let's see if she's nice to me or mean to me. I haven't really had an angry, mean seller in a while, so maybe I'll catch this lady at the right time. Let's go ahead and give her a call. And if she doesn't answer, I'll tell you what I would do with people like that, because that's people. What's your offer? What's your offer? All right. Since she had a bad experience with you, I'm not going to bring you up. Let's run some comps on this.
You have reached 781-237-19.
Let's call her back. I really like that you put the notes there, the problem you had with it, because I can help you on how I would handle that. Anytime you guys come across these angry that went off immediately, make sure you put all the good, the bad, the ugly information in there, because I want to give you feedback on how I will overcome that objection, what works for us.
You have reached 781-237-19.
She didn't pick up the phone. So here's the thing, and I'm just going to run comps for you while I'm talking anyway. People that, not everybody's going to be happy when you speak with them, but I wanted to point out that people that want an offer immediately over the phone, like let's say you call them and they're like, yeah, what's your offer? What's your offer, right? Well, we don't formulate an offer, right, until I get an okay from the homeowner, number one. Number two, in order for us to give you the best offer possible, there's a few questions I have to ask you. Otherwise, I don't want to waste your time. If somebody's trying to rush to get an offer on the phone, I'm not going to rush my process. Typically, those kinds of sellers are not interested in the first place. So don't beat yourself up over it. But if you find yourself in that situation, I would say, hey, in order for me to give you the best offer possible, I do have to ask you some questions. Otherwise, I don't want to waste your time, right? And that will save you some time. Or they'll say, okay, this person, maybe they're legit, right? Most people that come across that way are not really interested or motivated. They might be interested, but they're not really motivated. Or maybe you caught them at a bad time, okay? In regards to this property, let me just double check here because so this is North Carolina. It's a decent area. There we go. This is a 4-3. Okay. It's got a big lot, about 3,000 square feet. You should still follow up with these people, right? Always follow up with them. I do see the ARV. There's a really close one for 875. And this is also a brick. This is actually a perfect comp. Yeah. So for $875. Yep, same year built. Ours has an extra bathroom. This is a really good one. So, I mean, I'd have to get on the phone with her and ask her more questions about it. I don't know how you came across her, but definitely reach out. All right, why don't we let's call some lead house leads. You guys have to watch the replay of the last week. I'm going to upload a separate video because one of the leads that we called from Lead House 365, shout out to Lead House 365, very motivated seller. The numbers worked out. We got it under contract. We already have 2 to 3 offers above. We're not in a rush to sell it. We want to collect more offers. We're looking to accept one today, but easy deal. Easy deal. The ARV is like 4 to 450, somewhere on there. We got it for was it 260 or 265? I think it was 260. And we have offers at 275, 300. One is a hedge fund. So it's a great deal. Make sure you guys check out Lead House 365. They're awesome. Okay. All right, cool. So let's call some of these leads here. What do we got here? Let's see. Hold on a second. All right, so this first one I'm going to call. All right, Amy. And where's this at here? In Texas. All right, cool. So let's see if they pick up the phone. Inbound marketing is my favorite because they're going to you. All right. They want an offer. They're motivated. They have a sense of urgency. All right. So here's the property. Okay. And what are the notes she submitted here? Let me take a look. All right. So the needs some work, family emergency, property's not listed. I need to sell this property ASAP. Yeah. I mean, sounds motivated. Let's give her a call. Let's just give her a call immediately here. And let's run some comps on it. Remember, Texas is a non-disclosure state. So you got to look at MLS data, which PropStream has them. She's asking, let me see. Oh, this one's renovated.
Please leave your message for 8.
One more time. I mean, she's asking ARV. I don't care if she's asking ARV. I really want to get to know her situation. Because the price won't really tell you what it is. Okay. You guys have questions, drop them in the chat. I do see questions in the private chat that I'll get to.
Please leave your message for 806.
All right, she can pick up. Let me call another one here. So I'm going to put this in discovery here. Let's see. Let's call Jessica. This property's in Wisconsin. Looks like a decent property, actually. Sometimes you'll get people that the property is actually in really good shape. And remember, you want to make offers on everything. Typically, if they're fully renovated, they may not be motivated to sell at a discount. But you don't know until you speak with them. So here's the property. What's the situation? Okay, need some work. Reason for selling: can't afford mortgage after my father passed away. Want something smaller for me and my 2 daughters. Okay, need to sell ASAP. Okay, cool. Let's give him a call. So I'm gonna remember that because if she can't afford the mortgage and she wants a higher price, it could be a good creative finance deal. All right, but we won't know until we speak with her. So let's give her a call. The house looks okay. If you guys want to give a shot to options I used to comp, they have a 7-day free trial. You can go right now. They offer different pricing packages, which is really good.
Hi, this is Jessica. Sorry I missed your call.
Your time. I'm gonna leave a voicemail for her as well because I'm calling from a different area code. They're not gonna recognize. There's never photos on Zillow. You also want to ask when they were taken, if it looks anything.
Hi, this is Jessica. Sorry I missed your call. Leave me a quick message and a number, and I'll get back to you. Thanks.
After you have finished your message, just hang up. Or to hear more options, please press 1.
Hey, Jessica, my name is Steven. It looks like you filled out a form on our site about your property in Springwood Lane. I can go ahead and help you get an offer on that property. If you can please give me a call or text back at this number at your earliest convenience. Thank you. All right, let's go to the next one. You always want to keep voicemails short and sweet. You never want to overcomplicate it, especially when you're negotiating people. Like if you're in the middle of a follow-up and let's say they're waiting on an offer from you and you agree to an offer range, you never want to call back and talk numbers or anything in the voicemail. Your goal should always just try to get them back on the line. All right, this one. Oh, let me see this thing. I think I went up here for vacation a long time ago. New York. All right. So this is a more rural area, but that's okay. Remember, when you're in rural areas, you want to make sure that you extend the distance of the comps. Okay. Very important. All right. What's the story with this one? Let's see. Asking 300,000, need some work. Okay, reason for selling, relocating. Okay, so they are relocating. So let's go ahead and give them a call. To 12. All right, they didn't pick up. Let's keep it going. All right, so we have a few questions in the private chat. how to verify the buyer? How to verify the buyer if we are planning to do a reverse wholesale? How do you verify the buyer? I'm assuming you're talking about like vetting them, right? So when you're talking to buyers, is you have to make sure we typically like to ask, how many flips have you done in the last 3 months? Right? Are you paying cash or hard money? How quickly can you close? Right? Make sure you get a good criteria from them, because sometimes you'll go to these networking events. When I first started, I went to these networking events. I got the buy box for a lot of buyers, but they weren't real buyers, and it just ended up wasting my time. So you do want to vet buyers the same way you do sellers. Okay. Let me pull this up here. I can actually tell you a little bit more about what we asked them, because, last thing you want to do is waste your time with somebody that's not a serious or real buyer. Let me see here. Do you pay cash or use debt? How quickly can you close? How quickly could you inspect? Is an EMD of $5,000 an issue upon signing an assignment? How many inspections do you need? Typically, real buyers will only need one inspection. We had a property we were helping move yesterday, and somebody we spoke with was able to go the same day and make an offer the same day, and they did. It looks like we're going to end up selling to that person, and they're a real buyer. We vetted them. So just make sure you do the same when it comes to that. Steven, are you running comps on PropStream? Yes, I am. There's actually a video on my YouTube channel on how I do it. I don't show it here because I want to keep the leads confidential. I submitted a lead in Orlando. Will that be called later? Yeah. Let's go to the next lead. Yours is actually after this. I do see in Orlando one after this, but the next one is in Baltimore, Maryland. All right. So let's call this next one in Baltimore, Maryland. All right. Frankford Avenue. It only has one photo. All right. Well, I'm just going to call this person. Let's see if they pick up the phone. How does this only have one photo like this? Sometimes there's a street view, but in this case, there's not. That's okay. All right, let me get the phone number, and we'll go ahead and call. Need some work. The seller's husband completed most of the work himself. Seller said possibly another $20,000 worth needs to be done. All right. They're asking 178, and they're absentee owners, and her husband just recently passed. Okay. She needs to sell fast. Last year, I reached out to her, then followed up again in a month later. They weren't ready to sell then. She reached out to me today to let me know her husband passed away, and she's now ready to sell. She was previously contacted by a wholesaler and was offered 178 for the property, but the financing didn't work out. I assumed that meant the wholesaler couldn't find a buyer. Probably. It's crazy all the kinds of excuses you'll hear. That's why you want to make offers that you're confident will close. All right. You got to make offers you're confident are actually going to close. You got to make offers. Let's say you're renovating the house. Some of you are only wholesaling. Nothing wrong with that. But you have to make an offer where you would be comfortable if you were actually going to flip the house or rent it or whatever. Because if you try just locking it up and just try collecting offers and try reselling it, you're wasting your time. You're wasting the seller's time. All right. Let's go ahead and call this seller. All right. I'm on this. Hey, Anna. Hi, Anna. My name's Steven. I think you spoke to my partner, Miss Sapp, about your property in Frankford Avenue. Great. Did I catch you at a good time? I had a few questions about it. Okay, great. So I want to pull up what she said here. So we can go ahead and give you an offer on the property. It's actually quite simple. I just want to ask you a few more questions about the property. I'll go ahead and evaluate the area, and that'll give me more or less a good ballpark of what we can offer you. I want to say it takes about 5-10 minutes. Is that okay? All right, great. And I also like letting everybody know up front we are a real estate investment company. So, if I'm not a good fit, I'll let you know that way. I don't waste your time. Okay. All right, great. So I see here in the notes, let me see. It needs about another $20,000 worth to be done. Can you tell me a little bit more about the condition of the property? Okay. Sure. Yeah, by the way, can you guys hear her? I'm sure you guys can. Chat, please. Yeah, yeah.
Everything, shattered the sheetrock and everything, and then we were like faced with like having to redo everything, and we were doing it ourselves this time around, and so it just like they stole the air conditioning condenser, the furnace, the
Oh, wow.
water heater, like everything, like all the appliances. It was just a disaster. So when the basement was kind of destroyed, they are since gone. They moved out of the area, and we have had no problems ever since they've left. We just kind of like ripped everything down in the basement, and we haven't gotten to refinishing that. But we redid the sheetrock and the sheetrock and everything, and then got new furnace, like all new things, new like air conditioning. Did all that. They had taken the copper out of the walls. I mean, they really did a number on us because we don't live in the area. We live a couple hours away, so we would come down periodically, and they took advantage of that.
Oh,
So when they had done it, they kind of did it really cheaply. The renovation, they did this stupid like butcher block kind of countertop, and we went and we did real nice new countertop. We have now stainless steel appliances in there. I told Anita that it does have the tile from what they had done previously. I think that if I was to finish it, I would probably maybe do a different tile, but there is tile in there that was done previously. Put a new vanity in, a new we put wainscoting in the bathroom. There's just some molding that has to be completed. And I don't know if she like told you everything, but my husband got really, really sick, and he was in the hospital for about a year, and then he passed away. So he was doing that renovation, and
I
now
hear that.
I just kind of want to sell it and move on. And so I'm not really familiar with everything that he was doing because I work up in New Jersey, so he would go down alone. So there's a lot of information that I can't answer for you, but I certainly am happy to give you everything that I do now. So
Okay.
it had new carpeting. it probably needs to be steam cleaned from, so, but basically, it's had work done, but like I said, we were going to do the roof. He hadn't gotten to the roof. I don't know if you want to do the roof or not. We were going to just go over it with shingles, just to make sure that it was all good.
Okay.
So again, that's why I'm just saying to you hypothetically things that you might want to do. There's,
Sure.
some electrical work that, like the paneling, the electrical panel, that I think needs some stuff. I had someone take a look at it that they said they thought that someone had done something in there, but I don't really know. And then there might be some miscellaneous plumbing, like the upstairs and the second floor is done. We were going to just the floors finished at one point, and we were going to just do another sand and then do a couple top coats to finish it off. Because, like I said, they did it kind of on the cheap when they did it, and we wanted to make it a little bit more lust, like have like more luster to it. And when John was painting, he with knowing that we were going to go back and do that, there's like some paint splatters on the floor and everything like that. So again, everything that you would see when you would go in there.
Okay. Got it. How's the plumbing?
So the water has been turned when he got sick, like, I guess it's 2.5 years now. No, 2.5 years. It'll be a year. So in the fall, we turned off the water, but I'm not aware of anything, but there might be some miscellaneous plumbing that may need to be done. I'm just kind of saying there might be some stuff. I'm not 100% aware of everything, but he was staying in there when he was, he would go down and stay, for a few days at a time. So things were functioning.
Okay.
So again, but in all full disclosure, I haven't been down there in 2 years.
Sure. And then, what kind of time frame were you hoping to sell the property?
Probably as soon as possible. I just want to, I did have someone that had reached out to me and wanted to buy it, and we were supposed to close on the 28th, and they asked it for an extension and then another extension. They were having some problems with their financing, and I was just like, I'm done with you, because it just seemed like there was always a problem.
Yeah.
So I've
Okay. So let me pull this up here. Give me 1 second.
$78.
They offered you 178.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that seems. You said their financing fell through.
The way that it was presented to me was that they had their financing, they couldn't agree upon the terms, whatever that meant.
Yeah.
That was the communication that was sent to me in writing. It wasn't that they didn't have financing, they couldn't agree upon the terms.
Okay. Yeah, I think they probably couldn't agree on the terms because they offer too high considering the amount of work it needs. I always like being upfront with people because, there's always pros and cons to, getting offers from us and like investment companies. We're not always the highest, but we're the fastest. But the last thing we want to do is waste your time and our time. We want to make sure we give a good offer that makes sense to everybody, but it's just got to be fair. So it seems like it needs some work. What do you think it's worth right now, or what were you looking to at least sell for?
I really can't tell you. That was the offer that was on the table. So from there, I don't know.
Okay. So the way we come up with our offers, just to let you know, is, we take a look at, bedroom, bathroom, square footage, you're built. And then I just want to see what's sold in the area, typically in the last 3 to 6 months. I try not to go farther out than 12 months because the market can change, as you can see. And
Yeah.
that'll give me a good, idea of what we can offer you. Let me take a look here real quick. Do you know where Antana Avenue is?
No, I'm really not
Actually,
familiar
no,
with
there's
the
one.
area, to be honest with you.
There's one on Barbara Avenue. Oh, you live a couple hours away. But so I'm looking at some comparable properties. I want to compare apples to apples. I do see one on, it's right around the corner on 5305 Barbara Avenue. Let me see. This is it's built in 1951, 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1260 square feet. It's a little bit bigger than yours, but that one sold. Let me see what it sold for. Looks like that one sold for 140, and it was actually in fair shape. Yeah, it's like a white house. It looked like it was sold as a rental property. Let me take a look at another one. I always try to look at, like 2 to 3 because sometimes they can be very different. There's another one. Yeah, that one's sold for 140. There's another one on. Actually, this one's actually pretty close to yours. It's on 4916 Frankfurt. This is a 4-bedroom, 1-bath, and this sold for 142. I think
these are not remodeled, correct?
Correct. They're not remodeled. They're selling in as is condition. I think remodeled, they could probably sell closer to 2 to 210, but it looks like
So
go ahead.
So I mean, so taking that into consideration, like I think you have a really, really good head start on the remodel.
Mm-hmm.
So I would think that it would be, I don't think it would sell on the 140. I mean, from my perspective, I don't think, I think it.
You're breaking up a little bit. Can you hear me okay?
I just think that the, my building is worth a lot more than 140 because it's already had a large, at least 70% of the work done. So
right.
That would be my position.
Yeah. And I'm not saying that's what we would offer you. I'm just kind of taking a look at the area. It would just depend, how far along. I know that whether it's, depending on the type of finishes and material, what we would do is we would try to get it up to that 220. We would partner up with somebody and try to sell it for that 220 once it's renovated. But if yours is 70% done, I think we could probably be a little bit higher than 140, but 170 or whatever that other investment company was at, that's too close. Even if yours was about 70% done, because if they were to put more money into it and they paid closing costs, fees, commissions, holding costs, they wouldn't make any money. So I don't know who they are. I don't want to talk bad about them, but I don't think that's a realistic price. I think we would have to be less than that. We could probably do a little bit higher than 140, but if we were to, take care of this for you, take care of the closing costs, fees, all that stuff, and we can really close in a time frame that works best for you, what do you think would be the best price you can do?
I don't know. I think you're putting me in a difficult position because you're, you're not making an offer. You're wanting to see how low I'll go. So I can't say that. The only thing I could do is you say make an offer, and then I could,
Sure.
Think about what, I mean, obviously, I have this, unfortunately, I have that stuck in my mind, and I'm certainly going to want to get as close to that as possible.
For sure.
So I'm going to, I'm kind of in the position of, gee, do I just finish it myself and then I'm in I mean, I'd rather not be in that position, but I can't take a bath on it either. I mean, I got a lot of medical bills to pay. I can't lose tens of thousands of dollars.
I understand.
And I appreciate you being upfront, but there's no way I can take something that low.
Well, the good thing is I'll give you 3 options. Let me see. I'll give you 3 options, and you can just kind of let me know if any of these would make sense. Because if yours is somewhat completed, that kind of changes things. We would have to take a look at it no matter what to verify everything. But this is what we can do, and then maybe you could take this information, think about what would make sense to you. The first option is a cash offer. Now, obviously, the cash offer from an investor isn't always the highest, but it's the fastest. I think just based on what you told me, I'm just going to give you a ballpark. I think if we were to make a cash offer, we'd probably be between 150 to 155, considering the work. Maybe a little bit higher, maybe a little bit lower. I'm just trying to be conservative. So that's option 1. Is that something that might make sense to you around that range?
No, I don't think so.
No problem. Well, option 2 is that we're able actually to pay a much higher price only if the seller's open to seller financing. So, we'll buy the property at a much higher price in the form of a down payment and then equal monthly payments. And typically, we can pay a much higher price depending on what we think we could rent the property for. Would you say that the property, do you think it's like if we were to put in tenants tomorrow, you think it's livable, or does it need more work to get up to those standards?
Oh no, I mean, you definitely want to do certain things in order for someone to live in it.
Okay.
I mean, like I said, there's trim around the window in the bathroom, and
right.
There's certain things like I said, you'd want to clean up the floor. I mean, I don't think it's going to take a very long. I think that if you had a couple guys go in there, you would be done in a month or less, depending upon how well they work. But I'm sorry.
Oh, you're breaking up. I don't know. Can you hear me okay? I'm sorry. I don't know if it's me or if it's you.
Yeah, no, I can hear you now.
Okay, perfect. So yeah, that'd be the second option. The third option is what we call our retail buyer program. And the way that works, it's very similar to than if you listed the property on the market with an agent. The only difference is, since we're an investment company, we would actually cover your closing costs and commissions. And in some scenarios, we actually invest into the property. And that way we partner up with a homeowner, we list it on the market, and we market the property to retail buyers, landlords, and contractors. Typically, that's the best way to get the highest offer possible. So it's either the cash at 150, which doesn't sound like that's going to work. The terms option could work. That's a down payment and then monthly payments. And I think we're actually able to pay closer to 170 if we went that route. And then the third option regarding.
Okay, let me ask you a question on that. Sure. Is that 170 where you pay interest, or you just want to pay me 170 and then you have a loan for a certain period of times and it's virtually interest free?
Yeah, it's all negotiable. I'll give you an example of the last one we did. We put a down payment, and this also depends, by the way. Is there a mortgage in place with the property?
There's not a mortgage on the property.
Okay, perfect. So that makes things a lot easier. So it's all negotiable. It just depends how much time you would give us. We usually put, somewhere around 10% down, and then we make monthly payments. If the homeowner wanted some interest, yes. But also sometimes that down payment goes towards renovating the house. So the way that the homeowner is protected, for example, is if we renovate the property and let's say we didn't make a payment, and you're like, you're the bank, you'd be like a first lien position on the property. If we didn't make a payment, the property goes back to you fully renovated. So it just depends how much work it needs, but it's all negotiable. It just it's not like a one call, here's your offer. We would try to see what we could rent the property for and how much time the homeowner would be comfortable with.
You know what? I think I'm feeling a little uncomfortable. It sounds like everything that you're doing benefits you, and I lose money, significant money. So, you know, I mean, it sounds as though you want to, you want to pick up the house as low as possible, and then,
Right.
you know, we're not getting any benefit of what we paid for it. We're not getting any benefit of what we put into it. And you know, people are getting 7% interest. I'm not giving an interest-free loan.
Sure.
But,
I don't
you know, I appreciate your time.
Let me ask you this, just before I let you go. Like I said in the beginning, we're not always the best fit. Whether it's us or any other investment company, they're not going to pay full market value. And if they did offer you full market value, you're going to run into the same position you did with the previous company. So I always like being upfront. And like I said, when you get offers from investors, we're not always the best fit. I don't want to waste your time. What I would suggest to you is just connect with an agent, just list the property. But, you know, these cash offers from investors are all going to do the exact same thing I'm offering you. And I'm just letting you know that because I've been doing this for about 10 years. And the very first thing I like to tell people like yourself is that we are not always the best fit. And if I'm not going to waste your time. And if we can't help you, I'll point you in the right direction. I'm just trying to give you options. If none of those work, that's completely fine. You know, no harm, no foul. I'm just letting you know realistically what to expect, because I could check in with you in, you know, a month or two, or my partner. And if you sold the property, great. But I can almost promise you every other investment company is going to offer you the exact same terms and conditions and price. If you get another offer higher, I'd be very, very surprised, unless it was a homeowner that wants to live in it. I think that's a different story. But a cash offer, you know, if you want 170, I think you could get it from a homeowner. But as far as an investor, you know, you'd be wasting your time speaking with people like us.
Yeah, you know, I have to say I haven't been going out and like contacting investors myself. I mean,
Sure.
Your company had contacted me a couple months ago, and I said I would call her back when I was ready. So this was really our first discussion. So I haven't done anything to market it, and I think that at this point in time, it seems as though unless I really want to, you know, lose $40,000.
Yeah. Why not list the property? You just considered that, like calling a real estate agent?
No, yeah, I think that's probably the next move. I think that we'll go in there and just, you know, pick up where my husband left off and try to do some of the things, and then maybe just try to sell it that way. Again, yeah. I get bombarded with telephone calls, and I think, and my first response always is that I want to deal with wholesalers, and I think that that's going to continue to be my response from here on out. And I do appreciate your time. It's just that I just can't afford to take such a loss so someone else can make a profit. I mean, if people were a little less, you know, greedy and wanted to share in the profit, that would be a different story, but I just can't afford to do that right now.
No, I wouldn't suggest you talk to any investors, because I'd love to give you full market value, but we'd be out of business. And I don't know if it's a good fit, if you're a good fit for an investor, because it's got to be a win-win. You know, it can't be your price, your terms. It's got to find some common ground. But I would just say finish it.
Well, at 150 is not common ground. It's not. You're not taking into consideration the work that's been done.
No.
But again, I really do appreciate your time.
All right. Thank you so much. Good luck. So she's not motivated enough. Now, homeowners can't have their price and their terms. Okay. And here's the most common objection, and this is a perfect example. Somebody had this under contract. They locked it up way too high, right? I don't know how far along she is in the renovation, but it's better to be upfront with somebody and tell them it's not going to work than just to try to make it work, right? Because some people will say, well, let me just lock it up and market it, and if it sticks, it sticks. You can't do that. You're not going to last long. I rather tell the lady something that she doesn't want to hear rather than lock it up and try to market it and make the situation worse for her. I don't think she's going to sell this. She doesn't seem like she wants to really, she doesn't really sound excited about finishing a renovation on the property, considering how far away she lives. And guys, this happens all the time. Just because she said no, you move on to the next lead. Don't ever get discouraged. Don't ever take this stuff personally. You make the offer. You give options. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, it doesn't. This is why I love doing these live calls. You get to see the good, the bad, the ugly, and it doesn't get any more real than this. So, who submitted this lead? I'm sorry if I'm pronouncing your name incorrectly. Oh, no, Sonta. Okay, Sonta. So, I don't know how you came across the lady. I think she's motivated, but here's the thing. When you walk into somebody that has had a bad experience with another wholesaler or whoever, and they couldn't get the financing done, what it really means is they couldn't wholesale it because they just locked it up too high. And here's another problem with this house, just to give you some more intel, Ms. Sapp. I'll give you some more intel. This property is directly in front of a commercial. Let me see. This is a car dealership. You have what is this? This is just a bunch of commercial right across the street. In my experience, right, and this varies per market, but if your property is facing just commercial stuff, it's not as desirable. And this proves my point because the house is right behind hers in that neighborhood are actually selling for more. If her house was on the opposite side of the street, right on the other side, I think that we could offer more, but I will never, lock up a deal just to try to sell it, because it's just not how we operate, and especially in today's market, you need to be very lean, very upfront, set clear expectations. And if it doesn't work, it doesn't work, but follow up with her. Because I can almost promise you in about a couple of weeks, 2 to 4 weeks, she's going to reconsider that cash offer, right? And I know she has medical bills to pay and all that stuff, but, I don't know how far along she is in the renovation. But I'm glad you guys got to see that call, all right? I'm glad you got to see that call. So, Santa, make sure that you follow up with her. Check in with her in a couple of weeks, see where she's at, And don't be afraid to do takeaways. Before I call the next lead, the next one is in Orlando. I'm going to call this one Orlando because you messaged me about it, and that was actually the very next one here. Something that you want to get comfortable with is takeaways, right? What is a takeaway? A takeaway is saying something that doesn't really make sense to your goal, right? Like, why not list it with a realtor? I think that's the best option. Right? And then also, you're wasting your time with speaking with investors like us. Now, why would I say that? Isn't that going to hurt my negotiation? Isn't that going to hurt my stance? Actually, if anything, it helps. You know why? Because I'm letting the person know the realistic expectation. And when she gets calls from other people offering the same price, who is she going to think about? Oh, maybe that guy was right. It's like this deal we have in Hawaii. We were not the highest offer, but they accepted our offer and we're going to sign or sell that. I don't know if we're going to close on it or whatever. We'll find out today, but we have offers above what we had it for. But these people got higher offers than us. Why would somebody take a lower offer from us than a higher offer from somebody else? Is because we want to be as upfront as possible. We want to set those expectations because it's not always price, guys. It's not always price. Some people will take a lower price if they trust you more, right? This lady seems like she wants price, and she took a higher price and she got burned. So at the end of the day, you can only do so much. Let's go to this next one in Orlando. My voice is coming back little by little. All right, so this is Wyndham Orlando. Isn't Wyndham a hotel chain or something? Wyndham Orlando. All right. So what's the story with this one? She doesn't want pictures. Okay. Let me close some of these tabs out. All right. Seller doesn't want to share pics, wants me to check the data from counties, which I did. All right. So it looks like this is, they own 2. Shows only, okay. Out of state absentee, but she doesn't want to mention it. Seller knows about wholesaling. Said she can wholesale. Said he can wholesale himself. All right, so is this the let's I just want to make sure that the name matches the records. You would be surprised how many people post their property for sale by owner. I don't even know this person's marketing it, but one of the things I do when they start talking the same language as us is I want to make sure I'm actually talking to the homeowner. And if the name of the person does not match with the tax records I see on file, I ask them, I say, hey, I noticed on the tax records, this is under a different name. What is your relationship to that person? Right? And I just want to see what they say. I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. Right. Good thing real estate is it's a tangible asset. Let me see. Oh, this is under an entity. Let's give them a call. Let's see if they pick up the phone. Sounds like this one is also going to be a very direct conversation is what I like to call them. Let's go ahead and call. Some homeowners will think that you guys are greedy because you're offering at a discount. And I always laugh when I hear that because they're not, it's not that we're greedy. It's that I told you in the beginning and it may not work. And I don't expect you to, accept an offer from investors. But if we gave all the homeowners ARV offers, we'd be out of business. She's not a good fit and we're not a good fit. So this may be the same story with this person. I don't know. Let's go ahead and give him a call and then drop any questions you guys may have in the chat. I want to answer some questions if you have any. Hello? Sec.
Your call has been forwarded to an automated voice messaging system. I'm
going to call one more time. I looked up on, what is this?
What?
Hey, is this Mr. Gardner?
Yeah, how can I help you?
Hey, my name's Steven. I think you spoke with somebody from our team in regards to your properties in Orlando you're looking to sell. Are you still looking to get offers on them?
Sure.
Did I catch it a good time?
Yeah, how can I help you? It's not a great time, but if you've got some specific questions.
Sure. So I just want to ask you a few more questions about this one on Wyndham Lane first. Is that okay?
Uh-huh.
All right, great. So I pulled this up here. I don't really see, they didn't put too much information here. I mean, I saw some photos on Zillow. Does it look similar to what it looked like on Zillow?
Yes.
Okay, great. How old is that roof?
I'd have to look at it, but it's been replaced.
Okay, perfect. And then how's the electric?
Probably in 5 years, be my guess.
All right. How's the how old is electric and plumbing on the property?
I don't know completely. There has been some stuff updated and repiped, but I don't know exactly.
Okay, and I'm assuming this.
Most of our houses, there's no Federal Pacific panels or anything like that, if that's what you're thinking about.
Okay, and I'm assuming this isn't in an HOA, is it?
Nope.
Okay, perfect. Yeah, I mean, this looks like a great property. What's got you looking to sell it?
We're just moving investments around, doing different stuff.
Got it. What are you asking for it?
I don't have a price on that one yet. It's just one that the tenant is vacating, and so we may sell it.
Oh, it's tenant occupied. Okay.
It was. It's not anymore.
Oh, okay. So it's vacant right now. What was it rented at before?
I don't even remember. Most of our properties are actually below market.
Okay. Yeah, because
I don't manage that side of it. My wife does.
Okay. So you guys have no idea how much you were looking to sell this one for?
Nope. I haven't even given any thought.
Okay, no problem. Let me take a look here real quick. The way I come up with my offers is, I just want to have some basic information. Then I just take a look at the comps in the area, what's sold. This is a 4-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,541 square feet. Does that sound about right?
Yep.
Okay, and it looks rent ready.
2-car garage.
2-car garage. Okay. Yeah, this looks good. I think if it was a cash offer, because this area is actually pretty good to buy and hold. Some of these we don't flip. We actually just keep if it's like rent ready. But I'm thinking, just to let you know, a tentative offer, probably 2 to 225 cash. Is that something that you and your wife might be open to?
I mean, we can talk about it.
Sure. Okay.
I mean, if it helps you out, I just sold one around the corner for 280.
280. Was it similar shape?
Yep.
Okay.
A little bit bigger.
All right. So I'm not too far off. Okay. Let me pull up this other one here. This was on Elm Ridge. This one's built in 1995. Can you tell me a little bit more about that one on Elm Ridge?
What do you want to know?
Just the usual age of the roof, the AC, things like that.
I mean, same situation. The AC, I think, is 8 years old. Needs some work on the interior. Was tenant occupied, tenant vacated, or is in the process of vacating.
Okay. So it still might be occupied. Any idea what it's currently rented for, if it is, or is your wife?
I have no idea. Yeah.
Got it.
I know they're in the process. They're not renewing. I don't know if they're out yet.
Okay. Was it a month-to-month or annual lease on it?
Annual lease.
Okay, got it. All right, let me take a look at this. This is a 3/2/1165 built in 1995. This has an HOA, right?
Yeah, it's minor. I don't remember what it is.
All right, let me take a look at this one real quick here. Oh, this is right there. Is this oh, that's not a golf course. I thought it was a golf course. That's right next to the condos, though. Yeah, this one, I don't see too many comps. I'd probably be, probably around 140 is what I could be at around there. I know you have to run these by your wife. I just didn't know, sometimes I make offers and I'm way far off, and sometimes it might make sense.
I mean, we have verbal offer of 180 right now. So
that's good.
That's already come in. We may post it on MLS. So
yeah, that's good. Is the other one, is that other one, you think I'm within a reasonable ballpark for that other one?
The 200 to 225? Probably not.
Where do you think I got to be at to be worth your time?
Considering I just got one for 280 around the corner that's just slightly bigger and you're $60,000 less.
Yeah. Was that a?
But
Well, you didn't flip that one, right? You sold it as is.
sorry.
The one that you sold for 280, that sold in as is condition, right?
Correct.
Yeah, that's pretty good. That sold to an investor.
Yep.
Okay.
So, yeah, let me just think about it. I'll get back to you on it. If you want to follow up with me in a few days, that'd be fine. But we'll see what my wife thinks. I'll let you know.
Sure. And last question I had for you: if we wanted to take a look at it, is that possible to do a walkthrough?
Not unless you have a contract.
Not unless we have a contract. Man, it's hard for me to
Yeah,
do the highest offer possible. I mean, I'll relook at the numbers. I just like to take a look at these so I can give you the best offer down to the penny, so I don't waste your time, because giving ballpark offers over the phone, it's a little bit tricky sometimes. But I'll look at the numbers again.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sounds good.
Bye-bye.
Thanks.
Doesn't sound too motivated. I actually like the first one a lot. I'm very familiar with the area. I'm a cash buyer myself for very specific properties. I don't want HOA. This square footage is it's actually decent. He said that he sold one around the corner for 280. I don't know. I'd have to see which one that is. Actually, you know what? I could look at his linked properties. Yep. So on PropStream, the cool thing about PropStream is if you go to the property details, or I'm sorry, you go to the details, you clicked on linked properties, it'll show you all the properties they own. Okay. And then you want to find out, you can look at all of them. He actually owns 15. Doesn't sound motivated. Doesn't really sound like he even needs to sell. Sounds like he's just kind of like, whatever. So he's not motivated, but hey, like, you want to give an offer. And it's interesting. He said you got to have a contract in place first, which is actually pretty good. But there's a way you want to give. What is going on here? Some sellers blowing me up on these properties. Okay, it's all good. But typically you do takeaways. This guy actually wants you to have a contract first. I don't think at 280 would work though. And I'm not going to waste his time, and he doesn't sound motivated. We had some good calls today. It's good that you hear what people that are not motivated sound like, and people that throw objections, what they sound like. And remember, even though they said no and they have objections, you need to follow up. I need to get a tattoo on my forehead that says follow up, all right, with your leads, because some people don't follow up. Some people, and this including myself when I first started, you make all these calls, you make all these offers, you get no, and then you don't call them back, and then you expect to get contracts. And guys, it doesn't work out that way. If for any of you here that are new, if you're experienced, you know how important it is. But you can't call somebody one time and then they say no, and then you expect them to call you back. It doesn't work that way. You have to call them back. So if you get no's and yelled at and objections, good. Follow back up with them, because their motivation will change. And when you're upfront with people, you set expectation, you say every time somebody else is going to call you that's an investor, you're going to come across the same situation. If you think the investors are greedy because they're looking to get it at a discount, we're not a good fit for you. We're just investors. We have to buy at a discount. We're not top dollar, but we're usually the fastest. If you're looking for top dollar, list it with an agent. Okay? So great call today, guys. Man, my voice is getting a little bit better. Any questions we have here? What's up, Darlena? I know you guys had some audio issues. That's my bad. I didn't share that, but I'm glad you got to listen to the rest. Number of those offers, a new asking price you believe it's worth. Yep. What's up, to sell or not to sell? Yeah. No, Orlando's a great market. I know Florida's kind of weird right now, but there's actually still people moving into Orlando. Orlando's seeing a boom right now. Orlando's great. I love Orlando. I submitted. Oh, that was the lead I called. All right, cool. Well, guys, have a great Friday. Go crush it. Make offers, and most importantly, follow up. I'll see you guys on the next